a divide is crossed and communication is made. It's the same with an artwork.
Well, what I was going to say about writing about art, I think the hardest thing an artist has to do is to write a statement. I was told it has to be 10 sentences, hours and hours and hours to try and write these 10 sentences to describe your own art, which, I mean, for me is intuitive and spontaneous. What?
Saying
Right, the artist statement is, in that regard, is a lot, at least technically, like a haiku.
you can criticize others.
That's only 5 lines.
Right, that would be, actually, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
For somebody teaching, I mean, and art departments and art schools all over the country teach how to write artist statements. There's somebody you hire, gets to get artists to write artist statements. Start off by having them write it as a haiku.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing I really notice about your work and then hearing you speak are the layers of dimensionality of how you challenge the communications to at all times keep everything solvent. I hadn't, just as I'm looking, but then what you do is you just keep wiping it clean, so.
I know what you mean, yeah.
Yeah, so that actually makes them more exciting.
That is, so you're describing the work actually not as having been built up to a certain point and then stopped, but built up past a certain point and then brought back to this
Yes.
certain point.
Where I think that the paper, like when I look over here, should that have been a fixed element, like a ceramic, it would be fixed. The communication would then be something else. And I think that, and because you make the paper yourself, you're always in that solvent, kind of state. So I couldn't imagine you ever leaving. I mean, I don't know how to explain it, but when I think of you now, you're not this fixated thing, but I couldn't ever imagine you being challenged by what you know. So at this point, it would only become more exciting, more international, and, that octopus thing we talked about.
You make not only objects, you make images. You make not only images, you make objects. And you make irrelevant the idea that an object can or can't be an image, and vice versa. They just happen to be what they are.
Yeah.
And if you see an image in a thing, or you see an object in what seems to be a picture, that dissolution of distinction is how the artwork operates.
And he doesn't try to, and I use that in an emphasis way, he doesn't try to make it happen. It just haikuli happens.
My experience with this sumi ink or like a paper making papers to paint, this type of experience, I probably did it like thousands or maybe 10,000 or more of those same strokes. And I start knowing that material so well, and then it's almost like getting into some kind of philosophical path that you're going to probably what too much in your brain so many millions of times. And so I know how the ink move because it's my experience. It's really rather very scientific, and what kind of paper can make the ink move or not move. And all those statistics of combining certain lengths of the fiber and also how that treating the surface of fibers, either you have to size it and all this kind of thing. So like sometimes I feel, I'm a scientist.
Right.
And, so many things that I do I try not to really make it an abstract way, but make sure that I understood logically. So sumi ink I make, sometimes, and the reason to it, because of it's a matter of like a suit and how much that, Guru Konikawa included, and how I can make something very individualistic painting, because I try to change that ink from the very original things to something I invented. Paper, same thing, I struggle to do it. The combination of this ink and the paper that I make specifically for certain thing create my artwork. So that really takes too long, and I'm still in the middle of the investigate, myself. But this is something I can tell myself that I'm almost like a training monk.
Yeah.
Like the way I do, close to the art.
So what you were kind of saying is what you know can't betray you, but then what else could I know?
Yeah.
So that's
Sometimes that kind of a thought bring me to the wrong way because of maybe something you click. He mentioned about maybe in a general speaking, 7 artists in one artist. It's me.
yeah.
That's very true. It's just because of that, because I don't know how to get to the straight point, so I have to go a little bit of the other round, little bit difficult way to approach, and takes a little more time than I expected. But I think life is maybe same saying that if you don't do it, then maybe like me, I never get it. So I have to reach that point.
Thank Buddha, then,